A lone samurai walks along a narrow mountain path in Japan. Suddenly, a storm hits. The wind tears at his clothes, rain blinds his eyes, and the path beneath him crumbles. He slips, rocks give way, and for a heartbeat, he's certain he's falling to his death. But then a branch catches him. He hangs there, heart pounding, staring at the abyss below. In that terrifying moment, everything he thought mattered vanishes. The petty worries, the endless planning, the fear of the future, all gone. All that remains is the clarity of now. The samurai scrambles back up the slippery path, drenched, bruised, and shaking. Every step toward the village feels like a revelation. The storm lashes at him, but he barely notices. He thinks about the petty worries that used to consume him, obsessing over whether his sword was polished well enough, fearing what his neighbors thought of his decisions, counting every coin as if wealth defined him, worrying about a small argument he had yesterday, replaying the words over and over, stressing over honor, reputation, and things he couldn't control. All of it meaningless. The rocks he clutched for safety, the wind that nearly threw him into the abyss, and the cold rain washing over him suddenly made everything else fade. By the time he reaches the village, the samurai feels lighter, sharper, and clearer than ever. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't need to fret over trifles. The only thing that matters is how he chooses to live each moment. The samurai sits by the river that cuts through his village, watching the rain drip from the trees. He thinks, do I really need to face death to see life clearly? Not everyone will fall from a mountain path. Not everyone will clutch rocks with the abyss below. Yet the truth he feels is not exclusive to near death. Clarity, presence, meaning. They can be discovered without such extremes. It starts with small acts, choosing to focus fully on one task rather than a dozen distractions, facing fears instead of avoiding them, letting go of judgment, of yourself, of others, being present with every conversation, every breath, every simple moment. These are the paths that lead to the same insight the samurai found on the cliff. Life becomes meaningful, not when it's safe or predictable, but when you live it fully and consciously. I am Yamamoto Tsunetomo, and in the Hagakure I wrote that you do not need a catastrophe to wake up. I declared that meaning is in the courage to act decisively, with clarity in every moment, death or no death. So the question isn't, will I face a near-death moment? The question is, what are you willing to do right now to live fully? The samurai sits in silence, but his mind starts to wander again. Not to the mountain, not to death, to the same old thoughts. Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? What do they think of me now? What if I fail? What if I choose wrong? Should I wait? Should I prepare more? Am I even on the right path? Round and round it goes. The same loop, the same noise. And suddenly he realizes something terrifying. The fall didn't change his life. His mind is already trying to take it back, because thinking alone doesn't break the cycle. Reflection doesn't either. Even understanding the truth isn't enough. There's only one thing that cuts through it. Raw action. Not perfect action. Not planned action. Raw, immediate, decisive action. Speaking when you're afraid to speak. Starting before you feel ready. Walking the path without needing certainty. Doing the thing your mind keeps postponing. That's what silences the noise. That's what makes life feel real again. This is the unspoken core behind freedom of mind. Not clarity, then action, but action that creates clarity. So the question isn't what your mind is telling you. It's simple. What will you do? Today, and maybe now, sitting there, watching this, you are the one asking these questions. What if I fail the exam? Then study, open the book, start today. What if I'm becoming unhealthy? Then cook better food, move your body, take control. What if I run out of money? Then work, learn new skills, inform yourself, build something. What if I end up alone? Then work on yourself. Go outside, talk to people, risk rejection. What if I choose the wrong path? Then choose one anyway. So ask yourself honestly, are you trying to solve these fears in your head, or are you actually doing something about them? Because the truth is simple. You don't think your way out of fear. You act your way out of it. Of course, you already know all of this. You know that only action can solve your problems. But what can make the decisive difference? Training and repetition. You have to actively train your brain like a muscle. Recognize the moments and the opportunities to do so. Realize when your mind starts to wander. Realize when you jump from thought to thought, from one fear to the next. Sit back, relax, and breathe. One single conscious thought is already a small meditation, a moment of presence. Now act. Use this very moment to get up. You have to train this again and again. Every action is better than staying still and continuing to ruminate. Taking action, even if it's imperfect, often yields better results than endless planning, because it initiates a feedback loop, builds momentum, and allows for real-time adjustments. We tend to overplan because we think it reduces risk, but inaction is often the greater risk. So learn to recognize these moments. You will get better and better at it. You will take more and more action, and your problems will almost begin to solve themselves. When your mind wanders from fear to fear, it is already divided. A divided mind cannot cut cleanly. Therefore, do not merely observe your thoughts, cut them. When you notice hesitation, act immediately. When you notice fear, step forward. When you notice confusion, simplify. There's no need to think endlessly about the correct path. In every moment, there's only one question. Will you act, or will you remain as you are? To remain is decay. To act is life. Repetition is not just training, it is purification. Through repetition, doubt is worn away. Through repetition, the body learns what the mind resists. A man who acts imperfectly 1,000 times becomes sharper than the one who waits for a single perfect moment. Do not seek comfort in planning. The warrior does not prepare forever. He steps forward. Even a small action taken without delay is in accordance with the way. So when the moment appears, and it will appear often, do not admire it. Do not analyze it. Seize it. Stand up. Move. Begin. In this, there is clarity. In this, there is peace. And about overthinking, you don't suffer because you think too much. You suffer because you refuse to decide. You don't know which decision is the right. You just decide anyway and make this decision the right one. You just make it so it will be the best decision of your life, and you stick to it assuming it is the right one, because you will act in a way that will make it right. The Hagakure teaches something simple. When the moment comes, there is only action, not preparation, not perfection, not endless thinking. Because while you are thinking, life is already moving. Opportunities disappear, timing is lost, and hesitation becomes regret. So ask yourself this: if you already knew what the right action was, why are you still waiting? Overthinking feels like control, but it is actually fear wearing logic as a mask. The samurai didn't eliminate fear, they acted in spite of it. So the next time you catch yourself overthinking, don't try to think your way out. Move, because clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from it. The beautiful thing about this is that action is always possible. You can always do something about your life. So do it.